Today on To The Point, we have one of your top 20, season 16, So You Think You Can Dance on the show.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Welcome on into The Point with Kristen Burt. I am so excited. If you watched So You Think You Can Dance last night, you saw they finally revealed the top 20, and we have one of those top 20 contestants. What are those top 20? I have a lot of questions for you.
I'm a big question mark.
I know. I was like, I don't know. There are a lot of questions, and some we cannot talk about. But let me tell you who the contestant is and reveal her to you, Sofia Ghavami.
Here I
am. I'm so excited you are here.
I'm so excited to be here. I always watch your interviews on this show, so I'm honored to be one of the dancers on this show now. I really am.
Oh, I'm so excited you're here. Thanks for watching. We always appreciate the support.
Sure.
And do you feel, much like I feel, the top 20 is finally revealed?
Yeah. I mean, for sure. Yeah, I definitely do. I feel like since that part is pre-recorded, it's like reliving it. I'm like, okay, reliving it gives me the same like anxiety, but
nerves,
but
all of that.
Also the same excitement. Once again, I get to relive it. So yeah, it is like a finally moment. And I got to relive that same excitement of getting the news that I am top 20, so I am feeling that excitement all over again, and it is pretty cool.
Oh, good. Well, top 20, not unfamiliar to you, by the way. We go back to season 14 as well, where you had auditioned, and I dug through my archives. You're like, what did you reveal?
Yeah, what did you find?
I have a season 14 photo, Jeff, and it is the top 100. They're taping. It should say top 100, and Mandy Moore's in it. Let's see if we can find it. There it is!
Oh my God, how did you find cool?
This is on my iPhone,
wow.
by the way. I have some really good footage of Ballroom, and you're right there behind Paul.
Myself. Yeah, how
and that
funny.
is Jenna standing next to Mandy Moore.
Yes.
I have this great footage because I was there the first day of Academy for season 14.
That was when we filmed that whole opening dance,
in Northridge,
right?
yes. I have to say it was one of the coolest days on set.
That was such a cool day for me. It really, really was. That whole opening number, being a part of one of Mandy Moore's productions, which it totally was a production,
Emmy award-winning production.
Exactly, I know, and it's so surreal. I mean, watching that clip, I still watch it sometimes, and it really is such an amazing production, and it's really cool to be like, hey, that's me in there, And that whole day of filming was such a blast. It really was.
I don't think people realize that really was your first day. You guys, they cobbled it all together. They had the ballroom people, and the All-Stars were helping out quite a bit, which was nice. But it was interesting to watch because we watched the ballroom section moving into the tap section.
Yes.
So Magda and Kiki
right,
were
they had this transition.
Which again is genius Mandy Moore.
Of course.
And then we watched the whole ending where Kat's like, welcome to the Academy.
Yeah. Oh, that was so cool. That really brings me back. That was a lot of fun.
Like the hair on my arm stands up every time I watch that number. And I've told Mandy Moore this a million times, but I never tire of that piece. I've probably watched it more than 50 times, maybe more than 100. I am one of those obsessive people.
Yes. So
and when she won the Emmy last year for it, I was in the press room, and I was the first person that stood up, and I was like, let's talk about, she had already won for Dancing with the Stars. Let's talk about winning for this piece on So You Think. So I think for her, it kind of like wrapped everything up in a really neat bow for her.
Because she needs more, right?
She's fabulous.
She's fabulous.
Incredibly fabulous. Well, let's talk quickly about season 14 because I think there are always great lessons learned. You're going in new and fresh in season 14, and things are probably really exciting.
That's the thing. Yeah. That season, I auditioned on a why not kind of whim, I was just like, why not? I had just moved to LA. I'm a dancer. There are LA auditions. Why not? I auditioned as a ballroom soloist, and I never expected to make it to top 20, which was it really was. In that season, everything was so new and so surreal that I will forever cherish all of that experience. Really, it really, I think, was one of the biggest impacts on my dance career. Not only did it open doors for me, which it definitely did, but it boosted my confidence in who I am as a dancer. It really did, because I went in like, why not, and then I left with, I made it all the way to top 20.
On Team Marco.
Right, exactly. And I was surrounded by this incredible talent, and to put myself on that level, I was like, wow. And it really did. It gave me all the confidence, and I've only gone up from there. So it's really
good.
cool.
Because it reminds you had a seat at the table.
Right.
Because that's where you want. You want to be at the table, and you were at the table. Yeah. So that's the important thing. And you sit there and think, I can make it through. You know, I come in as a ballroom dancer, but you think I make it through hip hop, or I make it through that hard, there was a Travis Wall contemporary round.
Yes.
So those are the important sort of benchmarks.
Exactly. And getting to, I remember every time I got through was just like, wait, what just happened? But more so in the moment, working with all these people, it was kind of this like shock of, how am I on this stage? How am I working with these incredible choreographers that I'm always watching, you know? So it really was such a cool moment for me.
Were you one of those that grew up watching So You Think You Can Dance?
Absolutely.
Do you have a favorite season that you loved back in the day, or even a favorite all-star?
I loved Janine's season.
Janine Mason.
I really did. I really did that entire season, and I love her.
And she's doing incredibly well.
Absolutely.
Miss Roswell.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that. I really respect her for that, and she's so incredible in anything that she touches, and that's what I aspire to be. So she's
good.
Yeah, really
good
look
role
up
model.
to her. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We would love to see her back on So You Think. I wonder if they could ever get her.
I know. That would be amazing.
That would be pretty epic.
Yeah.
Different networks, kind of hard. I know.
Right,
I was like, if only it was like an ABC show.
Anything can happen.
Anything can.
You never know.
You know, if Nigel really wants it to happen, I feel like he can sort of, make it happen. He does a lot of wheeling and dealing behind the scenes and things like that.
I don't know that aspect, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, he really does. I'll show an example of that. One season, it must have been, let me just think of this very quick. It was season 14 when Fiction was an all-star. He was also filming World of Dance. NBC was not going to let him out of his contract.
Oh.
Because NBC has a very strict reality show contract. But Nigel did some wheeling and dealing, was like, look, he's not going to be a contestant. He's an all-star.
Right.
It's a different capacity, and he made it happen. So
cool.
There you go.
Well,
there's a
now
good
we
example.
know.
Yep. If they want you bad enough, they will get you somehow.
Exactly.
So after season 14, I guess let's go back to that moment because you realize I'm not going to be on Team Marco for the live shows in season 14. We were just talking, what is that moment like? It's hard.
Yeah, in that moment though, and I really am being genuine when I say this. Of course, in that moment, you're there hoping for the best. I was holding Courtney's hand, and we were just like, who's going to get this? I don't know. But prior to that, we had been talking, and we created such a quick and instant relationship that before that moment we all had already spoken, and we were like, whoever gets it, I'm happy for you, you'll be happy for me. So we had that piece going in, but of course you still get this anxiety. And then when he finally said it, of course it stung a little bit, but I left with so much gratitude and a full heart. And I will always remember also, like, when I walked off, Jeff spoke to me and he said, like, you're amazing, please come back. And that, of course, hearing that from Jeff, like, that fuels you as well. So I left with so much to take from that no part of me was kind of upset or no part of me was,
I mean, you can be sad, but at the same point, you're not going to be devastated.
Like, I was more overwhelmed by the gratitude and the experience that I had just had,
And you probably went in with no expectations.
That's why. So I couldn't be anything but happy, honestly.
Like, this is pretty great, actually.
Yeah, and it was all over, and I was like, what was this entire week? How did that just happen, So it was cool, and I wouldn't change my experience for anything.
So when that experience is over, how did that motivate you going forward?
Oh my God.
Auditioning and everything else.
Yeah, just like I said, it boosted my confidence all around, especially as a dancer, and I moved out here to be a dancer. So I was like, okay, like, let's just keep going full force with my training. I'm going to continue. From that moment, I decided I'm going to be back. I'm going to be back on the show, and I'm just going to continue working on becoming the best dancer that I could be, all around, doing everything that I love to do. And how could I not? I would wake up every morning, and I'm like, I get to train and do what I love to do every day,
You get to dance.
It's so cool.
It's so great.
It's so cool.
And, even if you don't want to go and then you go to a class, you walk out and you're like, oh, I feel so much better.
Right. That's my push to go to any class. I'm like, you will not regret it if you go.
Yeah,
you know?
In 60 minutes, 90 minutes, however long the class is, you're going to walk out of there and be like, I'm so glad I did that.
Exactly. Never fails. Never do I feel the opposite. Yeah.
Who have you trained with in Los Angeles whose classes really inspire you?
Oof, it's kind of a difficult question.
There's so many.
Yeah, there are so many. I couldn't give one specific choreographer because honestly, I like to change it up here and there. There's not one consistent choreographer that I always go to, but there are people in the dance industry that I definitely look up to. I don't know. I try to get a little bit of everything.
I've seen you at Playground LA.
Yeah,
you're definitely there for sure.
Yeah, I definitely go there. I go to like Nicole Kirkland's heels classes. I go to Kenny Warmwald's classes.
Yeah.
When Val has his pop-up classes, have another pop-up class.
Can we talk about that class? Because I've seen those pop-up classes, just the video.
Yeah.
They look kind of epic.
It's so epic. It's so cool. And I love that. Like, bringing authentic Latin to the commercial scene in a non-commercial way, you know? Mm-hmm. It's so cool. And I love that. I think it should be a weekly thing because I will be in those classes. I think it's awesome. And it's something that commercial dancers who aren't trained in Latin are always asking for. I get that so much. People are always like, but where can I take like a group Latin class? And I'm like, I don't really know, but I'll teach you, you know?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, maybe you need to be doing pop-up classes yourself.
I don't know,
maybe we'll throw it out there. Because were you there for the class where Max and Peta and...
I wasn't there. I was home in Miami, but...
Yeah, I saw that one and I was like, oh my gosh.
I know. I got a lot of FOMO, but it's okay. I'll be at the next one.
I know. I'm like, I think I'm just going to even pay like, can I just watch?
Right. Can I just watch and observe the class?
I'm happy. Get an observation fee or whatever it is. I want to do that for sure. How did the whole Max, Val, Peta Confidential tour come about for you?
So that was one of the many doors that opened from season 14. Mainly, though, because I met Kiki and Coco in this auditioning process.
Also known as Koine, just depending on...
Sorry, yeah, Koine. I'm so used to it.
I know her as Coco. I really... Right. And I wouldn't call her anything but Coco, but a lot of the So You Think audience knows her as Koine, which is what the show asked her to go by, which is her real name. Yeah. But just to clarify.
I'll try to continue with that.
You can say Coco. It's fine.
Okay, cool.
They know now. We've established it.
Koine, Coco, got it. So yeah, I met them in the show. Obviously, I was on Team Marco, so was Koine. And we got so close through that entire process. Mm-hmm. But anyway, they did the show and they did that whole tour and everything. And then I kept in contact with mainly Coco. Mm-hmm. And one random day I get a text from her like, hey, you might be getting a text from Val for a possible tour. I was like, wait a minute.
Val has my cell phone.
Yeah, I was just like, wait a minute. Like, what? And she was like, I don't even know. Fast forward a little bit. I get a call or a call from Val or a text saying like, let's have a one-on-one audition. Meet me at this studio on this day at this time. And I was like, what?
Do you sit there? I've had moments like this in LA. Did you sit there and go, I can't believe my life. I'm going to a studio to meet Val from Dancing with the Stars.
I definitely had one of those moments, especially because I grew up really in a family that we would always watch Dancing with the Stars. That's one of the main reasons I moved here, you know? And literally, I grew up watching them. I grew up watching Val, Max, Peta, Derek, all these people on the show. So it was a really surreal moment. And I remember calling my mom and she was like, wait, what? He texted you? So it was a very cool moment.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember meeting him in this one-on-one audition and I left that audition and I remember I called my mom. I was like, Ma, you know, like, even if I don't get this, I just got to dance for a whole hour with Val. Like, I'm good. You know, it really was. It was so cool. And then I left that audition. It was kind of like okay, well, we'll let you know. Mm-hmm. You would be great for this tour, but we're still looking at a few other people. Cool. I didn't hear from them for like 2 weeks. Oh, wait, but rewind. Sorry.
Oh, back up, everyone.
Back it up. The reason I got this one-on-one is that apparently, I now know this story from Kiki and Coco. They were all sitting discussing because he needed one more dancer for their tour. He had already brought Kiki and Coco to the team. And so they're all sitting there and both of them are like, what about Sofia? So they name dropped me, which is what got me the one-on-one with Val. So that's how this whole connection works.
And this is one thing about the dance industry. It's why you network. It's why you make friends with people. It's why you support and root for people.
Exactly.
Because you don't know who's going to recommend you for a job. Yeah. I just had that happen to me even with something recently. And I think, holy cow, someone I worked with 10 years ago recommended for your job in 2019. So
wow, cool.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, I've always, since I moved here, people always told me, like, yeah, it's all about networking and connections, and that kind of titling it and labeling it as that kind of freaks me out.
Right.
When it really isn't. It's just about being friendly and people in your industry, be friendly and speak with them, you know? You don't need to make a connection to get a job.
And it could be as simple as sharing, if someone does a video, sharing it every once in a while, or being like, good job, this is great
just
work.
Being supportive of the people in the same industry as you. I think,
It makes a big...
It makes a difference.
Big
Absolutely.
difference, too. So you get the phone call. Did Val call you? Did your agent call you?
No, it wasn't Val or my agent. It was one of the producers of the whole tour.
Okay.
And it was funny because they called me and they, I guess, assumed that I already knew. It was one of those things. I hadn't heard for like 2 or 3 weeks since that one-on-one. I hadn't heard anything at all. And Coco didn't know anything either. She was like, I don't know what they're going to do. I was like, okay. So I was like, let me just try to forget about it as we do.
Life.
Right. Life goes on as we do in the industry, which it's difficult.
It's difficult because it's in the back of your brain.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you have to start planning your life and like, this is what my spring's going to look like.
Exactly. Just keep going. You know, you keep going. Life doesn't stop. Like if it's a yes or a no. But anyway, so I hadn't heard from them. And then I receive a call, random number. And hello, how are you? And they said, oh, hi, Sophia, how are you? We just need your information to send you all the rehearsal dates and flight information for the Max Val Peta tour. And I was like, what? Wait. So you're saying I'm going on tour? And then she said, oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. I thought you knew. I was like, no, thanks.
This is a great call,
yeah,
though.
Absolutely, yeah. I remember when I hung up, I was right next to my best friend and roommate, and I just let out a scream. I was like, like one of those moments you don't know.
Tour,
exactly. Yeah, it was so awesome. And then right away I called my parents. They were ecstatic too, and it was a cool moment. Yeah.
That is such a good moment to share with your family, especially where you'd spend so many nights
around
the TV watching all of that.
Yes.
What was the rehearsal process like? Because I know they brought in a lot of choreographers for the show, which is great.
It was so cool to be exposed to, not only to work with them, period, of course, but to witness the way that they work, and their whole process was so interesting and so fascinating. I mean, like, that's one of the things that I really cherish from that whole experience was the rehearsal process and working with all these incredible choreographers. I mean, Mandy Moore, like seeing how her brain works. She was like, okay, let's do this. And then we made up something out of nothing. I don't know. It was a very,
That's Mandy's genius.
Right. I know. It was such a
She can see things the way none of us can see.
Right. And you're just kind of part of the whole and you don't know what's happening. But then you step back and you're like, wow, that just happened.
That just happened.
Yeah. She's very good. And a whole bunch of other great choreographers. That was amazing. And
did anything surprise you about the process of rehearsing with Max and Val and Peta and watching them?
No, nothing surprising, because I already assumed that they're hard workers, which they are, and they wanted to look perfect. So it was that whole thing of like getting everything to be perfect, and let's do it again until it's perfect, you know?
Yeah. So
that was really admiring to see that it's not just something on television, it's the truth. They are hard workers and they're incredible dancers. Side note. But yeah, also I was just so happy to be a part of this cast, because everyone in that cast, besides the 3 of them, is so amazing. Like, they are all fabulous dancers, but aside from that, incredible people, and I have built such nice relationships and friendships with all of them that I really, really cherish that.
Yeah, you not only do you have Kiki and Coco, you also had see Vlad was on that tour.
Yeah, Vlad was on that tour.
Teddy Coffee.
I love him.
Everybody loves Teddy Coffee.
Everyone loves him.
Who's off with Christina Aguilera right now.
I know, living his dream. It makes me so happy. Go Teddy if you're watching
Russia,
this.
everyone.
Yeah,
this was
everywhere.
His first time in Europe too this week, or this past month, I think. And he was like, this is my first trip. And he loves Christina Aguilera. I'm like, living the dream.
Yeah. He inspires me because he had a dream and he got it.
He did
I
it.
love him.
I know, and he would like put it out there on social media,
Exactly.
like, one day I'm going to work with Christina.
That was his number one thing, and he got it. How amazing is that?
I know. I need to go back. We had him here on the show, and I bet he probably said it.
For sure.
I need to go back and like find
that
the clip
would be
and
really
put it out.
nice. Yeah,
and
you
get
should.
it for him, because manifesting things.
Exactly. It's real.
It's powerful.
It's a real thing, and it is powerful. Absolutely.
That's great. I know. I always feel like that whole group of you that was on tour, I feel like I still see you guys hanging out.
Any chance we get to hang out. I mean, right now, like, everyone is out of the country.
Right.
Like, it was Peta's birthday the other day, and the only ones that were here were me and Janaea.
You're like, hi.
And we're like, we're here, just like an eighth of the cast. But...
I know. I think last look in Coco was in Peru. I'm like, you were just in Spain.
I've lost track. I don't know where she is, but I know she's living her life. So.
Yes. Yeah, so that's incredible. In terms of, you obviously couldn't audition for season 15 as a result of this tour.
Right.
So what motivated you to think, okay, let's give season 16 a try?
Well, when I know I submitted a video for season 15, but then my dates didn't match and I couldn't make it to the audition or academy or something. And I was pretty bummed, but then I remembered I was on tour and I was like,
paid for it.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, I am living a dream right now. It's meant to be. And then in that moment, I was like, fine, now I have a whole extra year to train my butt off and become even more prepared and be better and more trained for the show for the next season. So from that moment, I had already decided, okay, I'll be back next year.
So what did your training look like in the year that led up to season 16?
So I focused a lot more on my ballroom, which, I mean, I always have been and I continue to, but I had never been a Latin ballroom competitive dancer.
Oh,
like
interesting.
I never was in that scene. Mainly, it's very expensive.
It is expensive. I don't know how people do it, honestly.
Crazy. It's
because
kind of
every
crazy.
Weekend, traveling, hotels.
Listen, I don't know, but I respect it. I have always wanted to do it since I was very young.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I had that on like my bucket list, and I was like, okay, now's the perfect time to do that. I had just gotten off tour, and I was like, I'm gonna do that. So I started taking private lessons, and then I did my first pro-am competition, which was a blast, like a memory I will forever cherish. Seriously.
So when you get into that first competition after years of wanting to do it.
Literally after years of wanting to do it.
It obviously lived up to your expectations.
Oh yeah. I was thriving in that moment. I was like, yes, this is why I wanted to do it. I was living every second of that moment.
Did you have the bronzy spray
tan? I
had
all the tan, all the bronze, all the makeup, all the gel,
the hair,
all the rhinestones.
Did you have like... There's always
I didn't have a funky one.
You didn't?
No.
Okay. Sometimes when you go in the elevator and when there's a ballroom competition, you're like, holy cow, these are really elaborate.
Yeah, and that really is your hair. How'd you get it to do that?
Amazing to people that do the artistry.
Oh, yeah. That's a whole other world of art. I really respect that as well.
That is.
But yeah, so I had that moment, and it was everything and more that I had been waiting for and dreaming of. So I was so happy and thrilled, and... Side note, I won the categories that I was in.
Congratulations. Who'd you compete with? Your teacher or?
My teacher,
yeah.
Pro-Am, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, super fun. So yeah, that was a big part of my training because I really focused on my Latin. I grew so much, but I continued as well to train in my contemporary and hip-hop with all the availability I have to do that here in LA.
That's right.
So I just kept going, and I just took it a step further.
You're a pretty good hip hop dancer.
Thank you.
Yes, I know. Well, I went back and listened to our interview because I saw you in line in LA.
Yeah.
There's probably a photo of the two of us standing looking. It was a very
cute.
cold day.
Oh,
there we
I
are.
remember. Uh-huh.
Yeah, we'll see it in just a moment. There it is. It was a very chilly morning out in Los Angeles. I think it was February, which chilly is all relevant.
Listen, look at what I'm wearing. I was chilly. I have
I'm
like
wearing
3
my puffy
sweaters.
coat. Yeah, I'm wearing my puffy coat, so it was cold. But I do remember that in just like scanning the line and kind of getting a feel for what everyone is going through. And here you are, you're back again.
Uh-huh.
Take me back to that morning. Are you like, okay, I've got this round. I just need that golden ticket from Jeff and Robert.
Right. So I was super excited to be back. I had been training now for 2 years for this moment, so I was amped. I was super excited. However, fun fact, I had been training a solo to audition as a soloist ballroom dancer for like 2 months. I had been doing my solo, 2 or 3 months, doing the same solo every day. Let's go. And then like 2 days before producer round.
Who advised you not to go in solo?
My friend Kiki.
Your friend Kiki, who was like, please do not go in
2
alone.
days before was like, wait a minute. But like, why don't we just audition together? I'm free. I was like, why do you tell me now? But yeah, let's do it. Like, no questions asked. Okay, let's do it. We got into a studio 2 days before, came up with a choreography to my same song. And I was like, I already feel more confident. Like, I'm ready. Like, thank you. Thank you.
What a good friend, too.
Absolutely, yeah.
Giving you really great advice.
Yes.
And I remember you said it was like a cha-cha fusion. You're like, it's spicy cha-cha.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not
which
just
we
cha-cha.
got to see in the judges round finally. But I also imagine that having Kiki there probably grounds you. It calms you down.
Yeah, that's the perfect word for it, because that's exactly what he does with his with the person that he is, very calm, relaxed. I felt grounded the entire time, and anytime I stress or anxiety start to build up, he would see it and be like, just remember, like, you're good, just take a breather. And like, oh yeah, he was so great to have throughout that entire process, throughout the producer and the judges round. Really made it a whole different experience.
And he presented you so well when we saw it in the judges round. There's a great photo too. I think I have it too, but there's a great photo and it's unbelievable. It's just like he's there and he's like,
yeah,
take a look
exactly.
At Sofia.
And with
Give
the same cool, like, collected, yeah.
I love that photo.
I love it too,
you
because
should get it framed.
I know, I love that photo.
Do old school and get it framed.
I should, at least printed, not just digital.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, you literally should get that framed in your house, because it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, the one thing about Kiki, and I was backstage season 14. He and Lex were both unflappable.
The most chill people, yeah.
And I will always say, watching him do that cane dance with Jenna where they had to catch the 10 canes.
Yeah.
And I felt like emotion that was like unexpected out of Kiki's when he caught that last cane and he's like,
the excitement, yeah,
because they hadn't done it.
He's spoken about that, and he says that's the most stressful part of that entire journey, that one dance, which I can imagine. I mean, yeah, and imagine nailing that. What a feeling! Like,
and
of course.
They hadn't nailed it in any rehearsal except for when it mattered.
Right.
It was so exciting. I talk about this all the time on the show. I'm sorry, you guys, but it was so exciting to watch live in that studio. And I was screaming. I heard myself screaming every time they caught it. I was like, oh, and I'm like, what am I doing? But I wasn't the only one. There was 500 other people doing the same thing. But yeah, what a moment.
Yeah, no, but he really was so great to have. And one thing that I really respect and I'm so grateful for is that he made sure to make it my moment. Like, I will guide you and be with you through this whole journey, but this is your moment to shine. And he still shines, but it was great.
Of course, because he's Kiki, but he did a great job of presenting you. Yeah. Do you remember everything that the judges said to you at judges round? Because you finally get to see Nigel and Mary,
honestly,
and Lorianne and Dietrich's.
Right. A little bit of it is blurred just because, like, I did get a little bit of the blackout. Even the performance, I don't really remember that much.
It happens.
But it happens. And I really tried not to, and that's the one thing he was like, just have fun, enjoy it, be in the moment. And I was like, for sure. Then the moment comes and you're like, ugh. Right.
What am I doing? And a new stage, so it's a little disorienting.
It is. It really was. New judges. I was like, whoa.
You're like, Lorianne, hello, welcome.
I actually do remember Lorianne didn't give me the best feedback. I don't know if you were there that day.
I was not. I was there the very last day. So I was there on that Monday. Did you audition on Monday?
Oh, no, I auditioned the Saturday.
Okay, great.
So, yeah. But I got great feedback. Actually, 3 of the 4 judges stood up. Lorianne stayed sitting. And I honestly don't remember exactly what she said, but I think she was a bit underwhelmed, and she says that I could have given a little bit more. I don't know what happened, but I just remember that I had that in the back of my head that she was a little bit underwhelmed with my performance. Okay. And I was like, okay. But she's like, I just want to tell you this so you can grow and use it for your power.
Not a bad
and I was
comment.
like, absolutely. Give me all the critiques you can. That's what I want. I want to grow. So I remember throughout the academy, it was cool because I saw her gaining respect for me and actually giving me compliments and comments. So that was a really cool moment of like achievement, through my academy journey.
Yeah, you feel proud when you're like, okay, great. I took her note and I'm delivering that she's seeing the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. So
yeah,
that was
because that's what they do want to see. They don't want you to just like take the note and throw it away. And if you're getting 4 different notes, you have to pick and choose what's going to work. Right. But if you're getting one note, you can definitely adapt easily. Yeah. So that's kind of exciting. Mm-hmm. So of course you get your ticket to Academy Week. Yeah. There's 4 weeks, just so people understand. I was there March 26th, so it was somewhere the last week of March.
Yeah. Last week of March.
LA auditions were the end of February. So end of February for LA auditions, end of March for judges rounds, and then end of April leading to May 1st for Academy Week. And this was kind of interesting because you're back. Mm-hmm. Now you're on the Dolby Theater.
Right.
This is big and epic.
And different. Yeah. Yeah, it was huge. I mean, when we found out that we were going to be there, I remember I had seen the season before that they were there, and I was like, cool, I want to do that, you know? Right. And then I was like, oh, great. Now I get a chance to be there. Yeah.
Oscar stage.
Yes, so crazy. Really cool. And I remember walking in the first day, and it's like the Dolby Theater, but it's all... So you think you can danceify, you know? Right. So it's so crazy. It's like, that stage is for us right now. Like, that's
with
really cool.
With all the letters and the lights.
Right, all those lights that you see them putting together for this show that you are about to be a part of. It's pretty cool.
And the very first day, actually, the whole week was pretty long. There was a lot, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but there was a concert at the Dolby the night before, so the crew got a late start getting into the theater and building. So you didn't know that. No. So you guys, this is why you were all sitting around on like the lower level for a really long time.
Oh, wow.
They were still moving pieces onto the stage. Damn. And press had a certain call time, and they sent us away for like an hour or two, and then said, "Come on back, and then we'll at least start some interviews."
Oh wow!
So it's why you guys like had an early call time.
It was the hurry up and wait game. But...
It really was, and I felt bad for you guys because it's trying to stay warm all day, keeping the energy levels up, really difficult
to eventually dance. You know,
yes. And
hard on the body.
I have to love Fox though, because when we had auditions that day, they said, "Give me your list of who you want." You were on my list. I didn't get to interview you that day because we only had a certain amount of time with you. But it was like you, and I had Vlad on the list, and Eddie. Who else did I have? Kaylee Ware. Mm-hmm. People that I had were on my radar. Kind of wanted to follow up on the Sosa siblings, things like that. Bridget, because we knew we had Bridget last year. So they literally, and Howard came over, and literally my line, and I was like, "This is my list." I got so excited because I thought they were going to take a couple from my list and a couple from someone else's list.
Yeah.
So that first day, you have Luther Brown. Oftentimes it's Nappy Taps.
Yeah, I know.
Surprise, it's Luther.
But like I was in for that. I always love his choreography on the show, and I've taken his class once before, but I had never worked with him in this scenario, so I was super excited to see what that was going to be like, and he is so awesome.
I love him.
I love him as a person, the way that he teaches, the way that he is. I love it, and I'm really happy that I got to experience that. But Hip Hop Round, actually, I kind of hiccuped.
Okay, what happened with your hiccup?
I had a hiccup because I was so confident. I do train in hip hop, so I felt ready to go. Yep. I thought I had the choreography. And then it was my moment to go, and I was with 2 other ballroom dancers. I think it was Naz and Vero, I believe. And so I was in the side, and I was really confident. And then I was like practicing, but then they're like, "Okay, you're next." And then I was like, you know what? Just trust yourself, listen to the music, be guided by that, and you'll be good. So I'm confident, I'm ready to go. I got my outfit on, and I go on stage, and then I start doing it, and I'm really in it. And then I don't know what happened. I think like they had a hiccup, and then she had a hiccup, and then I was like, wait, am I off? You know, it was one of those moments where I got in my head. Second guessed myself.
We do this as human beings.
I know.
Why do we do this?
I don't know.
You knew it.
Exactly.
And then your brain's like, do you know it? And you're like, oh, maybe I don't.
Yeah, luckily it was like a second, and I was like, okay, no, this is not going to happen. And then I jumped back into it, but I definitely had a hiccup.
Did they call you out on it?
They did. Yeah. No, they didn't call me out on the... Jeff called me out on it, actually.
Oh, okay.
Afterwards.
He's not on the judging panel for that.
Right,
so.
right.
He watches, but...
Right. But, yeah, I was scared for that cut, but luckily I made it through. But what was cool was what we saw last night in that whole Mandy Moore group dance. we obviously did the 3 different styles and different parts, and I got to be in the hip-hop part. So I got to redeem myself, and I definitely felt like I did, and I remember having a moment with the judges where they were watching, and I was like, I made up for that, You're
like, I really do know hip hop.
Yes.
And I think the one thing too, with Luther Brown, it's not just about doing the moves. There's a lot of personality. And
it's all about the sauce. And he doesn't forget to tell you that. He does not forget to tell you to add the sauce, which I love, which that is hip hop. It isn't just doing moves. It's about your own personal sauce and groove to it, which, that's one of the main reasons I love hip hop. But with all that, I still...
Do you find... I find him challenging. We're going to lose you off the chair there. Talking about the sauce. But do you find him challenging? Because I have watched his rehearsals before, and it's about... It's not a 5, 6, 7, 8. And for me, who was trained as a ballet dancer, I'm like, oh my gosh, was that an unsa? But...
No, I think that helps, honestly. And I'm so used to it with the whole LA classes. Like... I think that actually helps me.
Oh, good.
Because then I'll repeat those sound effects in my head. I'm like a boom cat, It just helps. It really does. So it was kind of my kind of language, so I appreciated it, actually.
Good, yeah. And that is, it's a language.
Yeah,
and
it's a dancer's language.
It's a dancer's language that clearly I don't speak on that one.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you'll follow.
I don't know. I love Lou. By the way, he got nominated for an Emmy last week.
Did he?
Yes. For season 15.
Oh, yes. Remind me which piece?
There were 3 pieces altogether, and one was, off the top of my head, the yellow raincoats with all the guys piece. The girls piece that they did with kind of the crazy hair. And one more, which is off the top of my head, but I've got it on my website if you guys want to go see it. I listed all of the Emmy pieces, but we're excited for him because he put in some great work last year.
He's so great.
Then you go to... Let's do it. The ballroom round. Now, I always think when you get to your style, there are risks, and this happened to a lot of people in the contemporary round when they're contemporary dancers. You get overconfident because you're like, I got this. Oh, Emma and Sasha, I love their work. Oh, they're doing a cha-cha. I know a cha-cha. I did it for judges round.
Yeah.
And let's talk about your outfit because I tweeted this out. I was so obsessed with this red headband, turban thing. I have one. There's a profile shot too that's amazing. That, you know which one. I've seen it on your Instagram too. Yeah. But I'm kind of obsessed with this outfit.
Thanks. I was proud of it, so thank you.
Yeah, the ladies really work the fashion. This is one.
It's also, thanks.
It's kind of a chorus line circa.
It's funny because everyone seemed to be in this red tone, red and black vibe. Really, everyone was. Even more so than in this picture,
I know. I just look at that, and the ladies' fashion game this season. I even tweeted to Mariah Russell. I'm like, that Leo you wore in the judges round.
Loved it. She looked spectacular,
stunning. It looked good for her lines, everything. So I've been on my fashion game this year, which is really not something.
It's a new side.
I like it. That's where I call bringing the sauce.
Right.
How did you feel Ballroom went for you?
I had so much fun. Good. I got to dance with with Benjamin
Castro, coming out of the Castro family. Manny Castro is his uncle.
Yes. And I danced with him. I grew up dancing with him, so that was a really awesome moment. When it was time to pick partners, we were both like, we already knew. We were like, this is happening.
I've got to imagine he came as a contemporary dancer, but he's probably had a ton of ballroom training.
Right, of course he has ballroom training, so I already knew that, and we've already danced together before, so it was definitely a comfort zone for me.
Good.
I was really happy. I also danced with someone else, with Luke. They showed him slightly in the
judges round?
In the judges round.
Yep.
He was great too, though. That was so much fun.
Yeah, I heard a lot of the girls went twice because...
Right. I mean, that's just how there was more boys this time, actually.
Oh, there were?
Yeah, so we had to.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense because I think Jay Jackson told me that Stephanie went with Howard and then she went with Jay.
Yes, exactly.
Because he was like, I wanted Stephanie again. Yes. He's like, I got her, so.
Yeah, so that was really fun. I felt confident. I really did. Of course, you still get those nerves, but I was like, no, you're in your zone and you're going to kill it, And definitely dancing with Benjamin gave me a lot of comfort as well. And I just had fun with him in the moment, which I hope it came across.
Translate. Obviously it did. They moved you through to the next round. And I think that's important. Like, just like Kiki helps sort of calm the nerves. Having Benji there, you're like, familiar face.
Exactly. We calmed each other, so it was really nice.
Working to the same goal. And then we get to what I called the bloodbath, which was Talia Fabius. That contemporary piece was no joke.
And I still have a bruise? I don't know.
You probably do. And I had people that were sending me a little information of what's going on, like during Academy rounds, and someone sent me a text and was like, it was a bloodbath. So many great, talented dancers were just cut right out of that round.
Yeah, that was definitely the harshest cutting round. But for me, I was so, by that point, you're so drained. Mm-hmm. And I was at such a, when you're drained and when your body is exhausted, you get to this emotional level, which I definitely was, which can work for you in this style, you know? So I remember I was like, let me put, I forgot what this is called, but I'm going to put my blinders on and I'm going to be all in me, which I, for the most part, was throughout the entire competition. But I was like, this is for me. Remember why you're doing this. Mm-hmm. And enjoy this moment with Talia, who I had worked with Talia for the tour. I already know, I've taken her class. I know that I love her work.
You understand her floor work, and that is really important.
Which is so intense and important in her work. Absolutely. And I remember the moment of, that was kind of a breakthrough moment for me through the in the academy. Mm-hmm. Because it was such a release for me.
Yep.
Being able to finally do that dance, and like, it really got me so emotional because I felt like I left everything I had. Anything that I had left, I gave into that piece in front of the judges, and it came across, and I think it was successful. So I'm very proud of that round.
That is great. Yeah. And for people just to know, the ballroom round and the contemporary round were on the same day.
Same day, yeah. And there was a lot of like waiting. It was tough on the body that day, for sure. I said it on the show, actually. I'm like, it's tough on the body.
Like, I'm hurting.
Yeah, I'm hurting, but I'm pushing through, which is the truth.
And that is, I mean, I think people, if you let the exhaustion get the best of you, that's where I think a lot of people got cut, including contemporary dancers. Mm-hmm. But if you just work with the exhaustion and
use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
To that emotional
just
level.
Just be raw, like throw your heart there on the floor, and you're already down on the floor, so just throw it out there.
Get close, just toss it.
I just remembered, by the way, that Luther Brown, the third piece was Yummy, the opening number he did. Yes.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Just so no one has to like text me and be like, it was Yummy.
Yeah.
Yummy was the third piece. Nice. And always my favorite round, group round. You get Mandy Moore because I am obsessed with her. But I always think her piece is like, it's just always so joyous. And I feel like after you guys have been through the ringer, to just go out there and do some jazz.
Right. I mean, the whole piece was basically the 3 dances we had already done with some like transitions and like ending, which is a culmination of like just joyful movements. Like, it's like, okay, just enjoy this for a second. Take a breather. Look at where you are. Let's enjoy this as a group, you know? So really cool moment for sure. And working with her is amazing. And seeing it yesterday, like seeing it come together is so cool. We hadn't been able to see it come together. We did our piece and like the final piece, but you don't see it together until yesterday. So that was really, really cool. And I'm happy I was a part of that.
Yeah, you should be very proud because it is so exciting just to, I always like to look at that very last moment when you all hit the pose, like at the front of the stage and like, boom.
Yeah, that's a moment and everyone's like, we're here.
So cool. Because you know that coming up after group rounds.
More cuts.
Solos. Yeah, cuts and then solos. So again, that's a lot to ask on for you guys.
But that's what we signed up for, you know?
It's true.
So you go, you fight, you push, you be exhausted, and it's tough, but you make it happen.
After that group round, when they do make the cuts, does it start getting real? Like, we're getting down to it's not dance camp anymore.
It gets pretty real and kind of strange when you're like in this waiting area and you've been in the same waiting area and the number just keeps reducing, and then you're at this moment where there's just 30 of you. Even that seems so different from that first moment that you get there with how much? 79 people. Right. You notice that difference and you're like, oh my God, people are actually getting cut and I could be one of the next ones to be cut, you know? So it does get real.
But last night we saw that you are a part of the top 20.
Yeah, I am. I'm very happy.
That's exciting. I mean, that's
super
kind of
exciting.
It just has to feel so good.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Just to be there.
Yeah, for sure. Especially because going back after this 2-year wait to go back, already having made it to top 20, obviously I went in with the mentality of like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go for it all the way. But just because you were there once doesn't mean you're gonna necessarily be there again. And I was fully aware of that, So getting to that moment was like, whew, okay, that's good to know, I got here again. That's good.
Yeah, and that is the success, I think, too. I think that is, realizing that the training that you did and the work that you put in is putting you in the best position possible.
It paid off, yeah, for sure.
So we're moving into next week, and the girls are next week.
Yes, I know, how exciting.
It is, and this is, we can't reveal this, but it is, you work with a choreographer from So You Think You Can Dance and an all-star.
Yes, we do.
Yes. So did you, going into this, at least you understood, because you had worked with Marco, obviously.
Right.
You have a little bit of your brain understanding what this means.
Yeah, I have some understanding and, experience, but, again, it had been a while, so I was just as excited to work with an all-star and choreographer once again, and it's just, again, and I said this from last time, but it's just getting that taste of what the show is actually like. Just getting that chance is so exciting before the process even starts. You're like, oh my God, this is what we signed up for. This is the goal, to be doing this week after week. And I'm going to get to do that right now, So it really is, it's crazy. Pretty crazy.
All right, I'm going to back us off from any more talk of the sort of the outcome of next week and everything else. Just I know.
Red flag.
I'm going to back us up because I literally feel like we're on the edge here. Yeah. But just talking about all 4 judges, one of the things I have loved is that they all represent dance in different ways. Mm-hmm. What did they each represent to you? What does Nigel represent in terms of giving you feedback? And
Nigel, for me, is just this overall, he is the most black and white to me. Mm-hmm. So either you did good or you did bad,
There's no gray area.
No, exactly. And he's straightforward with you, which I love that.
I do too.
So it's you get your answer, So getting a positive feedback from him is a great feeling. Mm-hmm. Mary, she's the ballroom hot tamale. Getting good feedback from her is amazing. Yeah, it's just the fire emoji, literally. And then Dietrich's, I watched him on his season, so seeing that is just cool, of course I watched you. I've admired the way that he dances and what he does, which I don't do, but what he does, I've admired it for so long. So that was really cool to just hear any sort of feedback from him.
And he understands where you are as a contestant. So.
Right. And then Lorianne, she's just a legend in the industry. So I was like, cool, you get to watch me dance. What,
I know, and she does have the ability to hire you at any point in your career.
Exactly.
That's what I loved. We had her here on the show, and she's in it.
Yeah, I watched her. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Thank you. Yeah. But that's what I love about her. She's really so happy to be here at the table.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. And I love that about her, too. And she's so passionate about the industry. And she's so passionate about making dancers better, and she wants the best for each dancer, so she will push you hard, and I respect that because that's the way I like to be pushed, Yes. Don't be easy on me, tell me the truth, even if it hurts.
Make this all happen.
Exactly.
Yes, it's so good. Well, thank you so much for visiting. This hour went by so quickly.
I know. I feel like I was just blah blah.
No, this is good. It is better than when I have a guest that's yes, no.
Yeah,
I have to draw answers out of. We love chatting.
I kind of for a second forgot that I was on this show. We were just talking.
I know. I always feel like I'm in a living room. Someone's like, I watch your show. I'm like, you do? I thought I'm the only one. And
oh wait, that's right. Well, there are cameras.
There are cameras here. Well, if anyone is not following you on social media, where can they find you these days?
On my Instagram, it is Sofia Ghavami. Ghavami is Ghavami.
That G is not silent, people.
No, it isn't.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank you
so much. Thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me. Seriously.
You bet. All right, you guys, don't forget that if you are listening to us on iTunes, rate us 5 stars, leave a comment. That gives us more visibility out there on iTunes because there's so many great podcasts to listen to. Yeah. Of course, for all of your dance news, check out dancenetwork.tv. We'll be back next week for another great show. Thanks to Dance Network and Popcorn Talk for hosting us here on To The Point.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.